वो दिन कितने प्यारे थे, ये दिन भी कितने प्यारे हैं। तब बाबा साथ हमारे थे, तब बाबा साथ हमारे थे। बाबा अब भी साथ हमारे हैं।
बाप दादा को राजी करने का सहज साधन है। सच्ची दिल, सच्ची दिल पर साहिब राजी। हर कर्म में सत्यवादी, सत्यता महानता। जो सच्ची दिल वाला है वो सदा संकल्प वाणी और कर्म में संबंध संपर्क में रास युक्त होगा, अर्थात रास को समझ करने वाले, चलने वाले और रास युक्त की निशानी है। हम कहाँ तक रास युक्त है उसके परखने की निशानी है। अगर रास जानता है तो वो कभी भी अपने स्वस्थिति से नाराज नहीं होगा, अर्थात दिल शिकस्त नहीं होगा। और संकल्प में भी, वृत्ति से भी, स्मृति से भी दृष्टि से भी किसी को नाराज नहीं करेंगे। क्यों? सबके वह अपने संस्कार स्वभाव को जानने वाला रास युक्त भाव को राशि करने की विधि है। रास युक्त चलना और रास युक्त अर्थात न अपने अंदर नाराजगी है न औरों को नाराज। बच्चे, मैं आपके सदा साथ हूँ।
Om Shanti, transformation of old sanskars and old nature. Transform the sanskar of being attracted to the body. In order to transform the sanskar of being attracted to the body, which pulls you against your conscious wish, pay attention to two main things. One, look at everyone's divine character. And two, look at the living being. This is the main effort that is needed at the present time. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Welcome to new month of November. So today is the day 1 for month of November, and we are starting our new series. And not only one series, but we will have special series after this with Brother Ken. So please be with us. We will have a lot of treasures today. So now let's start day 1, transformation of all sanskaras and all nature. Transform the sanskar of being attracted to the body. Now let's listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti, everyone. Baba says so little, but so much. And a good intellect, maybe Baba says golden vessel is required to hold all that, what Baba speaks. Raz Yukta, Raz is significance. Sometimes they use translation secret, but actually it is more what's the importance, what's the significance. I think, at least for me, I have still to relate to this, that if I understand the significance of everything, yeah, whatever, many may be Ras, then internally you will never be upset or disheartened with yourself. That means everything now begins from the self. And then either you say something or your attitude, something will upset others. Razi, that means there will be lack of contentment in the self, and others will also not be content. So what we have to do to practice tomorrow, to see what is the significance. And also from yesterday's homework, there are two ways. One is to transform from negative to positive. Other is to cultivate. In English, we say nature. In Hindi, we call it swabhav. And it's almost like when your feelings, your bhavana is of love, of respect, when there is a lot of love in your bhavana towards others, at least even for your own self. Then the thoughts which you will have, swabhav means swa ki bhavna, that means your pure feelings, will create certain feelings, right? Pure feelings are feelings. Then the thoughts which you are having are coming from that, what you could say, self-respect or my eternal state of love. It's like new sanskar, different sanskars will emerge. At this time, we are transforming sanskar, but also we are creating new sanskar. And as much I immediately first transform the thought, then it will be attitude or way I speak, some transformation at that level. Then will bring transformation into sanskars also. Because sanskars are created by some action, some kind of action. And those sanskars then emerge as our nature or our thoughts. So it's very subtle actually. It looks like, okay, I change my nature and I change my sanskars. But it's good to understand from where what is emerging in me as my nature, swabhav, is from my feelings, right? So don't quickly allow your feelings to be affected by old sanskars. But pay attention at confluence age, especially this last part of confluence age, to create the sanskars. And Baba calls them divine sanskars, pure sanskars of golden age. So my swabhav, my pure feelings, and those pure feelings help me that whatever I say, whatever I do, has power in that of purity. So the sanskars which I am creating are pure and divine. So I think if we concentrate more on creating, and as I create, the transformation is happening. Because I always kind of said, why always only negative to positive? Why not? We have knowledge now. So with the knowledge, as much I use knowledge, I create new sanskars. And that becomes nature then. You could connect it with Baba's versions also of Raj Yog, then internally have contentment and don't get upset with yourself first. Somewhere I am upset with myself, and then whatever I do could upset others also. So that's what way because I like to make efforts in a very positive and, based on knowledge. So, okay, first I have negative thought, then I transform. But why don't I create positive thought, elevated thoughts, thoughts of everyone's well-being, thoughts of bestower, any quality. And then those thoughts will become action and they become sanskar. And from sanskar again, the feelings or swabhav will emerge, nature will emerge. It's really like a cycle. So I think that we have to understand it. And then again, today is also same, almost like tomorrow's homework is not looking at the body, but look at, Baba said, charitra. Charitra could be character, but it's also like someone's part, So the characteristics of that character. Someone said to me yesterday, sometimes we don't notice the specialities of the soul. But if we notice speciality of the soul, it's good for me and good for that soul also. Not unconsciously also look at the activity of the body, face of the body. But what Baba is saying, what you need to do is look at one who doesn't have picture. So Baba is using word vichitra, unique point of light soul, and look at then the characteristic of that soul. So I think somewhere what we are looking at is not the normal actions and conversation, whatever, not regular ones. But if we look at that one as a soul, everyone I'm looking at as a soul who doesn't have picture, and also then looking at the characteristic, because every soul has some very special qualities and their character is based on that. So if I hold that kind of vision, I'm transforming my way of thinking, my nature, my sanskar, everything. So Baba is giving us a yukti every day, what to do. So if we practice that, then transformation is happening. And I'm sure that in 1 month we will feel lot change in the way we see, we think, our attitude and everything. And we start seeing the Raz, the significance. So for tomorrow, we have actually double homework. One, what Baba said, because I am still seeing what is the significance of everything, every scene of drama. And other is inculcate this nature of looking at the soul and also the characteristics, special ones of that soul. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, transformation of all sanskars and all nature. Transform the sanskar of being attracted to the body. In order to transform the sanskar of being attracted to the body, which pulls you against your conscious wish, pay attention to two main things. First, look at everyone's divine character. And second, look at the living being. This is the main effort that is needed at the present time. Shanti Avyakti Parivar. So before we start our new series with Brother Ken, I would like to announce about Double Foreigners program. I did yesterday as well, and we did send out the schedule in email. But let's look at once more. And it's very interesting because tomorrow they have changed the session, and it's will be going to be with Brother Bridgmont Ji. And that actually, because of time difference, it will be already done in the night, but we will play it at 8:30 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, so that everyone can take the full benefit, and we will do the translation in the Spanish as much as possible. And third is Baba, fourth, fifth, sixth. So every day we have something, and that will be 8:30 a.m. New York time. So you all are welcome to join, so we can take the full benefit of the Foreigners Madhuban online program. Thank you very much. And now it's time for something new. And we are really, really grateful that our dear brother Ken has taken time out to be with us in Avyakti Parivar. and some of you might know him well, some of you might be very new. So definitely we would like you all to know who he is. And before I start, also I would like to just mention that this is part of our Vikti journey, and even though Brother Ken is traveling to different countries, still he committed himself to be with Avikti Parivar for actually most of the days. It's about more than 20 days. So really, really thankful. And so those days when he's traveling, we will do our Avikti journey with Bab Dada, meeting with double foreigners. And rest of the days, we will do our Avikti journey with Brother Ken. So let's know a little bit more about our dear angel, Brother Ken, and then we welcome him.
And Brother Ken was one of the first students to emerge around 1975. He was only 22 years old at that time, and he is originally from Australia. He studied meditation in London, returned to Australia, opened some meditation centers in Australia, and then he was invited to go to Brazil. And since then he has been based in South America and is the Brahma Kumari's area coordinator for that continent. And Ken, I would say, is really quite an extraordinary person, because whatever he turns his mind to, he's able to do at the highest quality. He's really an extremely gifted teacher and communicator. But he's an accomplished writer. He's written 16 books in 3 languages, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And he's also an accomplished musician. And he hasn't got his guitar with him today, but I think in his heart he would love to play you a song as well. And a management consultant. And in Brazil, he's worked to the highest levels of government with the Prime Minister and even the President of Mexico and people at that level. So please give a big, big warm welcome to Brother Ken.
Wow. Thanks, Charlie. Bye. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Brother Ken. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Here is a rose for a rose.
Okay, lovely. Very
So
lovely.
we have been waiting for you in a Vikti Parivar for quite a time. And we were going to have a special program with Brother Ken, but drama is wonderful. That accumulated and multiplied into almost a month with Brother Ken. So we're very looking forward to this new series of serving and living with Brahmin family. So thank you and welcome to Vikti Parivar.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was owing a visit because when I was in Peace Village, unfortunately, I got COVID, so I couldn't come on the program. So here I am. Thank you so much.
Yes, and Om Shanti, Brother Ken, welcome. And I have to say, it's always exciting when we have a new series starting. And I'm sure everyone here on Avyakti Parivar is very much looking forward to this month. And we always have our dearest Mohini Didi as our main spiritual resource. But on top of that, it's always so nice to see when our Diamond Senior brothers and sisters come to share as well. And so very warm welcome to you. And word on the street is that there was a beautiful retreat that you had hosted a couple of weeks ago in Peace Village based on Dharna based leadership. So I did hear from a few souls how wonderful their experience was. So we are very much hoping that you would give us a glimpse of that here in Avyakti Parivar. So very warm welcome, and we look forward to your turnings and treasures that you have to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear sisters. Thank you. Actually, thank you so much, Bhumi Ben, for making this possible, and also Didi Mohini for very graciously granting some space in the program. Yes.
We're very fortunate to have you. So before we begin, Brother Ken, we actually have a special welcome gift for you.
Oh, wow.
Many blessings from Bab Dada and our Dadi. So here you go.
Okay, wonderful.
Like moths plunging towards the flame, we journey to our home again. Like flowers open to catch the sun, our minds are open.
Bab Dada, देखते खुश होते, बहुत अच्छा। जितने कदम उठाए उतने पदम कटेगी, पदम को नाम मुबारक दे रही है।
You came into this darkest night. You gave us back our inner sight. You found us broken and full of shame. You gave us back our crowns again. To have you find ourselves inside your door. To have you is the sweetest thing to feel. You are our everything. Let our Baba. Baba.
There's only one. My only thought is to be with the one, to open my eyes to see the one. For my heart to feel the love of one, to hear the voice.
I feel that the language of God is about love and silence rather than words. When I realized for the first time that I was in love with God, that He was there for me through thick and thin, I didn't think too much at the time. It was just a deep exchange of loveful feelings. I was bathing in His light. But after coming back, I put these words on paper and then to music.
Precious rain could never bring change of heart that you have brought to me. Sweetest song could never say words of love I want to say to you.
So Ken, whatever he puts his mind to, he has an extraordinary ability to fully focus and develop it to the highest quality. But deep in his heart is his relationship with God. And I think he would be the first one to tell you that it's his relationship with God which has motivated him to his extraordinary life, where he's traveled the whole planet teaching and meeting countless thousands of people and sharing the ancient Raj Yoga of this great country.
Baba said Brother Ken had been a very, very, whatever he started, whether it's renunciation or being good instrument, whatever, he had not only been consistent, but always moving forward and willingness to help family in whatever way. Lots of love, remembrances, Brother Ken from Baba.
Thank you for your inspiration, for your life and love. Thank you for your recognition of the
अच्छे बाप दादा को खुशी होती है, अमर भाग्य वरदानी है, जन्म से अमर वरदान मिला है, अमर रही है, अमर रहेंगी। अच्छा
Shanti, what can I say after seeing all of that? It took me back to so many beautiful scenes with Baba and with the family, with our seniors. Sister Mohini used to come to Brazil every year for many years. Lots and lots of, not just Brazil, the other countries of South America also. So we traveled together many, many times. And as was mentioned in the beginning, Sister Bhumi asked me if I could share some thoughts from the Dharana-based leadership program in a way for general consumption, because the program was created to help our instruments, basically, those who run our centers and run countries and or run departments within the service. And so the course was basically over 9 sessions in 3 days, so it was fairly intensive. And of course, what does Baba talk about when he talks about leadership? He doesn't even use the word. He talks about us being instruments. He talks about us being masters of the garden or the masters of the shop, his shops. He talks about us being trustees and so on. But it's very, very clear in every single moli almost how Baba wants us to help and treat others when we're interacting with them, whether we're living with them. And a lot of us do live with other Brahmins. I always used to say that if you wanted to understand about how to live with others, see what Baba says to the Madhavanivasis, especially, because he had great expectations of the Madhavanivasis, and he would give them all sorts of yuktis, all sorts of tips about how to live together and how to do service together. So in a way, every single muli is about how we should be with ourselves, of course, and how we should be with others. In the course, so we talk about how Baba looks at the different things from leadership. There's one muli that I just start off the course with one Avyakta muli in which Baba talks about 8 or 9 different qualities that he expects from us as his instruments, just to show how rich Baba's and how high his expectations are of us. It also looks at how to understand this chaotic world that we live in, what can we learn from it, how to interact with situations, because as Baba's instruments, all of us are Baba's instruments for something or the other. How do we therefore deal with people, and especially how to deal with situations, how to understand the craziness that's going on in the world at the moment. And there's a special attention given, and this is what I'm going to be talking about today more than anything, and the next couple of days, is about coming together. Like, we all come from different backgrounds, not only in this life. If we trace our existences over 84 lives until we get to the Baba's door, now imagine how many relationships we've had, how many situations we've been in, over how many births, how many children have we had, how many parents have we had, how many jobs have we had, and of course we've been, as Baba says, equally divided between male and female. So we've had births as women and births as men also. So what happens when we come together? And this is basically what this month is about, how to live together, how to serve together better. And part of that is knowing how to adjust to others, the differences and also the commonalities. There's one section on delegation and trust. Trust is a big problem, rather not a problem, big challenge for most of us. Trusting ourselves, trusting in the drama, trusting in the service that we're doing. And there's also one session on dealing with different sanskars. And of course, the big one that we're going to talk about a little bit today too is ego and self-deception. How we deceive ourselves about ourselves, right? And then we talk about a little bit about self-sovereignty, which is another synonym, I would say. We are self-sovereigns, and therefore we have the right to govern in the future. So I was listening to what Didi was saying about Ra and Baba in that Abhiyak Moli before, about being Raziyukt. And in fact, knowing the secrets of the self, it helps me to understand other people as well. So I'm going to be talking about that today. I'm going to be talking about probably our greatest challenge is to deal with our own ego and to deal with the egos of others. The word ego in English, anyway, it's actually a Greek word. And in Greek, ego means I. It's the same word as I. So if you say in Greek, I'm going to the bank, you'll say ego, going to the bank. I don't know the rest of it in Greek, but it means I. And if we take it from both in Sanskrit and also in Hindi, ahankar or ahankara, it's a very, very, very good description, because aham means I, and kar is related to what I do. So it's me and what I do. So it's me and my creation. So people, when they move around, they are so proud of what they do and what they have achieved. And we have to be careful with that, because there are two me's, there are two I's, even though I is probably the most popular word in our dictionary. How many times a day do we think the word I, or do I think, or do I say the word I, even I think this, I think that, I did this, I did that. But there are two I's. One is the real one, the soul, the who and what I am really. And in that I am proud of the internal treasures that I have, but I'm also aware of the treasures that others have. And as part of our homework tomorrow is to look at the living being. So I have to have such vision that can see through all of the rubbish, can see through all of the appearances and see the real value of the other. But I can only do that if I'm seeing things from that perspective. Today, Baba was talking about dangling in his remembrance in this morning's movie. And I was thinking that, look at the state of the world in Brazil at the moment there. In fact, today there was almost an overthrow of the government. The trucks have blocked 380 through 400 different parts of major highways in Brazil, demanding that the army comes in and overthrows the newly elected government. But of course, in the end, it just fizzled out. But how did Baba, if I'm dangling from Baba, how am I seeing these scenes and situations? Of course, I have to see things what really is there. I have to see the souls are going through different situations. Their souls are just playing their roles, and in fact, they're the same things that they did last cycle. So naturally, if I'm having Baba's perspective on things, that's the very first thing I need to do to be able to live and to work with others. I need to try to feel how Baba feels. I need to see how Baba sees. I need to use Gyan to understand situations. I need to put things to myself. Objectively, in terms of the Gyan, that means I'm looking at things with the third eye, and therefore I'll have a very correct reading of the situation, and then I can, what sort of things should I feel? What sort of things should I think? What sort of things should I become because of the situation? And so there are always these two starting points. One is the real me, the spiritual me, the soul that's had 84 births, the soul that has been around the whole cycle, the soul with so much experience, the soul that is actually beyond. I'm not any one of my 84 bodies. I am as different from this body, this physical body here, as I am from my previous body that I don't even know what it was like. No one, can you remember your previous body or the one before that or the one before that? So I'm as different from my physical body at the moment from any of the bodies that I've had. So that perspective, I'm an eternal being. How do I see this world? How do I see other people? The first and most important relationship is the spiritual one. So that's why when Baba says, remember me alone, it was so much emphasized in this morning's Murli, right? But what it means is that not only should Baba be my center of reference, but when I think of anyone else, I will think of that one. And this is how we can see the living being as per our exercise tomorrow. I can see the living being because I'm with God's drishti. I'm having the same feeling that God has towards someone because I'm close to Baba and I'm seeing things from that perspective. I won't get lost in the appearances and that, the attraction to the body is one thing, but then there's the attraction to the personality, the attraction to the achievements of someone else. Oh, look at what that person has done. And look at that person's personality. Isn't it wonderful? And we shouldn't forget that if there's anything good in anyone, including myself, originally it would have come from Baba. Baba's inheritance. It's either what he's giving us now or what he gave to us in the last cycle. Anything good in me or in anyone else, the origin of that was God. God had brought that up in the soul somehow or the other, especially at the end of the last cycle. And whatever inheritance anyone had, especially the good part, it's God that brought that out somehow. So if anyone has any good in them, it comes from God. And even that word, and the word God is related to the word good in Old English. It's come from the same root, God and good. So there are two me's. The one is the real deep me, the soul that's been through all of these things. And from that perspective, I look at anyone else. So from that depth of being, I see through the appearances, I see through the, as Didi was saying, the characteristics. I see through the character, I see the diamond, as Baba said today. Everyone is a shining light. And my vision has to be so well trained that I can see that in other people. But of course, if I'm stuck in my own bodily identity, I will only see other bodies. I can't see souls if I am in body consciousness. It's impossible. In fact, I'm not even aware of God. If there's body consciousness, God is not in the equation, nor is any sort of spirituality. So if I become the ego me, the ego little me, I am so and so, I've done this and I've done that. And it's not just the bodily, worldly ego that I was born in such and such a place, in such and such a family, in such a tradition, Indian, Australian, Hindu, Christian, whatever. That's very limiting to think like that. Of course, that is body consciousness, and that's the cause of all of the problems in the world. But if I start to see things from this deeper perspective as a soul, it's completely different. So if I'm working and living with others, I have to take into account these two eyes, the limited one, which is the body conscious eye, not only me, but anyone else who I'm living and working with, and the soul conscious me, the real me, the one that is related to God, and then the other person too. There are three things that I have to become detached from. I have to, first of all, and it's more easy, I have to become detached from the body. That's the easy one. I'm the soul, not the body. The second detachment's a little bit more difficult. I'm the actor. I'm not any role that I have, and this is why Baba says that we have to be soul conscious and not role conscious. In living and serving with others, roles get in the way. I'm more important than you. I'm more superior than you. I'm this and that and the other. So these are the sorts of things that I have to understand. I have to give up wanting to win. I have to give up wanting to be first, wanting to be understood, wanting to be loved and so on, because I have to do that with myself. I have to understand myself. I have to love myself really as Baba loves me. Then I can love anyone else. And so there are two starting points for anything. One is the limited me, which gives me completely wrong version of reality when I'm thinking about anyone or trying to understand anyone. If I'm just looking at my relationship and my role and my story and that one's role and that one's story, then it's very, 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 very difficult. I have to go beyond my body I have to go beyond my role, and more difficult is to go beyond my story, that I did this, I did that. Even my story in Gyan, because often the body consciousness that we had before Gyan, we just substitute it with sort of a BK body consciousness. Before it was, I was born in such and such a place, in such a family, and I did this and I did that, and I studied engineering and so on and so on. I worked here, I worked there, and then I came into Gyan. But even in Gyan, I took my Brahmin birth in such and such a place, so-and-so was my teacher, I did this, I did that, I opened this center, I opened that center. But it's the same, actually. It's just we put BK in front of the body consciousness. It's the same. So what is essentially different when I start to look at the world around me? I can see two realities, and this is so important when we're trying to live and deal with others, like interact with others. Because I have two realities. One is a limited one with all of these limited characteristics that are related to ego, and the other is my unlimited reality as Baba's child. And now I may be completely different from anyone whom I'm living with or working with. They have a different personality, different appearance, maybe a different gender, different age, different culture even. Many differences could be there. But the only way that we'll be able to get along is if I understand what we have in common. So both of us are souls. Both of us have the same original state. Both of us come from the soul world. Both of us are children of Baba. And this is like the real deep secret of being able to get along with anyone. That I'm able to see both things, like respecting the differences of age and color and so on and so forth, experience, social background, anything. They may be different, but we are also similar. And the basis of any spiritual relationship is what we have in common. In fact, that's the basis of the word communication. Now, half of the word communication is commun. And commun in Latin means common. So communication means exchanging something we have in common. That's what communication means. So unless I make the effort to think about what do I have in common with this person, really at a deep level, if I can't establish that, I won't communicate. If I'm judging the person on his appearance, on his characteristics, as Didi was talking about, if I'm just looking at the surface, the superficial layer, I won't be able to get across to that soul. But if I can go down deep myself, I can touch the other soul also. Because at a deep level, there's no such a thing as differences. The differences are just very superficial. So these are sorts of things that we have to take into account. And these are the secrets, the deep significances that we have to take on board if we want to be Rajayukt. So these are the sorts of things that we'll be talking about. Tomorrow we can talk about what happens when we put Baba in between. As Baba says, one of the greatest yuktis is to put Baba between the soul and someone else, to put Baba between the soul and the situation. And that is the art of having good relationships. live together and to work together. So we can take up that tomorrow. But anyway, today I just wanted to go to the basic. Now, having these two perspectives, the limited one, which takes us one way, and the unlimited perspective, which frees us. So these are just some thoughts that I wanted to share today. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Brother Ken. I think this is the foundation of Brahmin life. And if the foundation is strong and firm, then automatically everything will be okay. And I know that when you all were young Brahmins or early days, we had lot of practice of soul consciousness. And then after that, I think we get so busy with service and taking care of many things. But definitely, once we asked Dadi Janki, what is more important? She said relationships are most important. And as you said, that first it is relationship with one's own self. And if my relationship with myself is very clear, then relationship with others will also be very beautiful. So thank you very much. And yeah, we will listen to you. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
Everyone will benefit. But thank you for, we had to ask you and you accepted. So thank you for that. Om Shanti.
Thanks, Didi. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much, our dear Angel Ken. This was just the first day, but there are many more days we will be spending with him and listening to him. So once again, thank you. And now let's remember Baba and take Drishti from Didi. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we'll follow our same schedule, including 5 to 5:30, Avakti Children Holy Class. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good night, everyone. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.